Hey guys, so today this is part 3 of making doing Discord.net tutorial. Today I'm going to be talking about rules as someone suggested or asked on my last video about rules, and I also thought that it would be a nice topic to go over with because rules in Discord.net is a little bit hard to do. It's complicated in a way. There's no it, it's not easy to do, so I'm going to go over how to manipulate with roles and that such. So we're going to be doing this with commands, so we're going to make a new class. It's going to be, say, role commands .cs. So the reason why I say it's not easy to do is because it's a lot of the stuff you have to do is you have to cast a little bit. And so what casting is when you have to change a object's type to something else. So in here I'll show you what casting looks like a little bit, but you have to do a lot of casting with it, so it's a little bit weird. The only way you can get the role or such is you have to mention it or ID. The name doesn't work here. I tried doing that and all the code it should work and such, it does not work for some reason. So I'm just gonna be showing like how to get the role by ID and the role by the mentions. So we're gonna make this be a public class, and it's gonna be using Discord and using Discord.commands. And we also need, I think that's it. We also need system.threading.task. This needs to be a module base of socket command context. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to get the role. So we're going to do public async task get role, and we're going to make this be not reminder but a command, and we want to be getting, let's say, get role. Okay. So in order for us to do this, there's a problem a little bit. So we're going to do the mentions for get role for right now. We can do the ID, but it's a little bit more complicated if we're trying to do both, and that's probably going to be something that you will have to do and find out on your own. There's ways of doing it, but I'm not going to go over it because it's a little bit more complex of how to do it. But for this one, we're going to do the mentions. So the problem is right now it doesn't have an argument. If we pass in an argument with the command, it will throw an error because the command requires no arguments, but we passed one in. So in order to allow that, we actually need to do a remainder string, and we're going to just call it role name. Okay. Okay. So I'm wrong. We don't need to do casting, but I'll show you what casting looks like. So role, I'm just going to show you what I've been trying to do and it wouldn't work. But so we do context dot guild dot roles dot select. We do predicate, so x dot name is equals to role name. Okay. Okay, so the problem here, so if I do like console dot right line and then do role, right? There's a problem though. This is not what I should be seeing. The reason for this is because it's an numerator. As you can see, I can go over here to select. It will say it's an enumerable of socket role, right? So how do I fix this, or how do I make it into the role object? Well, that's what we use casting for. So casting looks something like this. Socket role. I need to import using discord.js, or not JS, but .net. Okay, so this is what casting is. I'm changing this type into socket role instead of enumerator. So now I can go into role, and I have all the role objects now because I've casted the variable into a socket role. So I can do like name, and it'll show me the role name. I can do ID, it will show me the role ID. So that's kind of what casting is. I'm wrong, we're not doing casting in here. You would have to do casting if you're doing the name, and it's a little bit more complex and it's really hard to do as of right now because there is no clear way of doing it. So for this one, we're just doing the role mention for get role. So in order to do that, we're going to do var role. It's going to be a context dot guild dot get role. Okay. So in order to get the role mention, we actually need to do is context dot message dot mention roles dot first dot ID. So this one is, so basically what we're doing is saying we're going to go to the guild, we're going to get the role that the user mentioned with its ID, because the get role method requires the role ID. You can't pass in a string in it, it will not work. You have to pass in the role ID. Okay, now we're going to do a var embed, and we're going to do a new embed builder. Okay, we're going to do title is equal to info on role, and we're going to say role.name, and we're going to say the color is going to be role.color. Embed dot add field, and we're just going to do one thing. We're going to show like how to show the parameters. So we're going to say administrator, and that's going to be role dot permissions, and we're going to do administrator, and then we're actually going to do a conditional statement. So we're going to say if it is true, then we'd say yes. If it's not true, then it'd say no. I don't think I mentioned what this does. But so this is I don't know the full name for it, but I call it a conditional statement because it is a conditional statement. It's very similar to an if statement, but it's more used for variables, for string injections, all that. So how it works is, how you can remember how this works actually is this question mark. You can think of it being like asking a question. So in this case, we're saying since administrator is a Boolean variable, we're saying if role has permission of administrator, then we're going to say yes. This is if the statement is true. Then the colon is saying what if it's not. Then we do what this is. So we're going to say no. That is kind of how this that conditional statement works. And we're going to do a wait context dot channel dot send message embed dot build. Okay, so that works. Okay, so now we can test it and see it working. Okay, so let's say I want to get the info. So let's say I want to get the info of let's do. I don't want to ping anyone. Do I have my own rule? It doesn't look like I do. So I'm just gonna ping the all panic created bots. So, and there we go. As you can see, info on the role, all panic created bots, administrator is true. Okay, so that works. And you can see the color is the color of this. It's just a little bit brighter because of how embeds work. Okay. So we got the get role by mentioning it. Okay, so let's add a role to a user. So in order to do this, let's make a new command. So we're going to say public async task add role to member. Okay. Remainder is going to be actually ulong. Say ulong, yeah, it's a ulong. Ulong role ID. Okay. Man. Okay, so we're going to be doing what if I want to do it by the role ID. Okay. So command, we're going to say it's add role. Okay. So first thing we need to do instead, because we're going to try and treat this like in a command that a bot would have and a user would use. So in order for a person to use the add role command, they must have admin privileges. So in this case, we'll be using the guild permission of manage roles, because that makes more sense because we're doing role commands right now. So we're going to first do that. First, we're going to make that check. So we're going to say var mod equals context dot guild dot get user, and that's going to be context dot user dot id. So the reason why we have to do it this way is because the context.user is a user object. The user object is not associated with the guild, which is the server. So we actually need to convert it into the guild user or guild member object. So we have to use the context.guild.getUser and pass in the user ID in order to get the member, the guild member object. If we did the other way, it would not work. So now we can do the check. So we will say if the mod dot guild permissions dot manage roles is not true. Oops, don't want that P there, but right there. So then we would say await context dot channel dot send message async, and we're gonna say sorry, but you must have the permission of manage roles to do this. Okay, and of course we need to return it because this is a check and we don't want it to continue afterwards. Okay, so now we're going to get into like what if I want to do it through the role ID. So we're going to do var role is equal to context dot guild dot get role. It's going to be convert dot to uint 32, and this is, I'm wrong, this actually needs to be a string, I believe. Role ID. Okay, so you may be wondering what is the uint, like the uint 32. U in this, like at the variable or the type, like ulong, uint, all that, or ushort, U stands for unsigned. Um, it's a little bit hard to explain what unsigned means in this context, but U in 32 is essentially a U long. A U long is longer than a regular int variable. Int has a point where it's considered not an integer. Usually that's if it goes in a decimal or it goes beyond its byte size. Usually int byte size is around 32 bytes. So you'll have to do the math. I don't know what that point is, but I know it's 32. 64, a int 64 is a long. So U long is the same as a long, but just unsigned. Okay, now we need to get the var. You get user, so we're gonna do underscore user, and we're gonna say. Actually, first we actually forgot one thing here. Then go back up here, and we need to do a string user. We need to add a parameter there as a placeholder because of then it will complain about us not having enough arguments for, or having more arguments for the command. So we have to have a placeholder for it. So now we can go down here and we can say var user is equal to context.guild.get user, and then we're going to do a context.message.mention users .first .id. Okay. Like I said, the guild.get users to allow us to get the guild member. Okay. Now, how do I add a role to a user? That's actually really simple. It's only complicated if you make it complicated, but in this context, it's actually really simple. So all we have to do really is await user.add role async, and we just pass in the role. That's it. And we just made it to add a role to a user. Okay, and let's just make like a success message. So let's do await context dot message, not message, channel dot send message async. I will say added, and we will say role dot name to user. And we will say context dot, not context, we will say user dot username. Okay, and that's basically it. Now we can test it. Okay. So let's first get the role. So let's say I want to use the all pandas. So in order to get the ID, we have to put an under a backslash in front of it. It will give us the ID, which is right here. So we copy that, and let's try it. So add role. We're at myself, and we're gonna do that. Let's see if it worked. If it did not, I will be sad. It did not work. What would the reason be? What would the reason be? Probably it's because this does need to actually be a ulong. Role ID. And let's try that. Usually when you program, you do have to sometimes debug a lot. Add role at Panda Korea. And did not work again. That's surprising. I don't know why it's doing this. Why would it not be working? Unless... Oh no, wait, no, I remember. the reason why it's not working is because it is the bot is trying to add a role that is higher than me. So I actually have ownership, so I'm gonna actually like drop myself under it. Add role at Panda Korea. Should work. No, it did not. Why would it not work? The only thing I can think of is the role not being able to do it. Yeah, it doesn't have it. So there we go. There we go. Now it should work. So we do add role at Panda Korea. Did not work. It does not work. I think I did something wrong in this. I'm trying to see. Add role async. That's right. That's right. It's really strange. Add role at Panda Korea. Try to give me. Oh wait, yeah, it's also because of me trying to try and make it give me the role at other dev develop other dev bots. Now it should work if I'm correct. There we go. Yeah, and I actually put the $sign there because I was thinking I was in JavaScript. Yeah. But yeah, so it works. We can even go to myself, and I should have it. Yep. So you see, I have it. Now I can go back. Owner. There we go. Okay, so that works. Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to figure out what was wrong with it, then I realized that it was multiple things. Anyway, so now let's say, what if I want to delete the role? So we do async task delete, or actually remove role from member. String user and remainder. Let's do the at mentions. Or actually, yeah, let's do the at mentions. So we can do string role name. Oops, no space because that would technically not be a method. Remove role. Okay, so now it's actually it's pretty much the same. Only difference is we're gonna do the role mention. So we'll just do context dot message dot mentions role dot first dot ID. Okay, and instead of dot add role async, we'll just say remove role async. Okay, and now. And we should change this, and we'll say removed from okay, and then I'm going to boop, and then we'll do boop. Okay, so I'm now under it. Add role, so we're gonna actually add that role again. Okay, we're gonna add it first, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do remove add, not add, remove role at Panda Korea, and I'll show you that I do have the role. So I do have the role. Now if I do this, did not work. Hmm. 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 Oh, right. I was trying. I remember now. That's my fault. Role. So we're going to remove role. And then it's the other dev box. There we go. So now if I go to myself, I don't have it anymore. Owner. Okay. Now. Okay, and then we're going to do one last one, which is going to be, what if I wanted to create a role? So command, and we're going to do create role, public async task, create role. And then we're going to do string name, and that's about it. Okay, so to create a role, it's actually really simple. All we really need to do is await context dot guild dot create role async, and we just need the name. We also just need to say null, and then null, null. Oh no, this needs to be false and null. Okay. If you want to have it to add permissions, so like you can actually do is so how it works. So let me do this. So how this works is that first argument is a string name, right? I can't. Okay. So then the next one is actually a array of guild permissions. So how you would do this is you do this, right? And you would do guild permissions, and then you would just add like, let's say I want to give it administrator. Okay. Boop, and then boop. Should be right. Is it not? Oof. I think I have to do a new guild permissions. Oh. Oh, right, okay. There we go. That's how you do it. Okay. And you would just put in whatever you want. So you would just put like, let's say I want to have administrator. So do administrator, and it's gonna be false. I mean, not false, because it's defaulted to false. I want it to be true. Okay. What about color? I can actually, let's do color dot. Let's do dark gray. What about this? What is hoisted? Hoisted means it shows on the member list, so let's say true. Okay. And then request option, you don't really need to worry about that. It's not too much. Okay. And then we're gonna see await context dot guild, or not guild, but channel dot send message async. And we're just going to say created role of name. Okay, that's really it. And we can test this. And it'll say create role, and we're going to say testing. And then you'll see, so if I do @testing, it's created. And we can also do, and I'll do like get role, and we'll copy this ID real quick. I think I did I do it through here with ID? No, I did through dimensions, so I don't even need this. @testing, and it shows that we have administrator, and it shows our color as well. So that's basically how you do roles in here. It's not too in depth with it, it's just like short and showing how to manipulate it. But yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with roles once you understand how it works. It is complicated to get the handle of because it's hard to get to a role. But if you're doing something like a set, like if you want someone to react to a message, or to a message with something, and then you get the role because of that, you can actually do just a hard code in the ID for the role into the context.guild.get role, and then you just put the hard code the ID in. You can do that. You can do a lot of things with roles. It's just hard to get to it once, just like from an argument. So that's all for this one. Next one, I'll probably see what I should go over. I've been trying to do lots of stuff with my life, and I have college happening, so I've been trying to not do a lot of videos lately. So, but once I have an idea, I'll probably be doing another video, hopefully before I have to leave. I'm also going to be doing lots of Pokemon drafts, so I'm going to be doing lots of those videos because we just started a new season. So, yeah. So, see you guys later.